objectives at the right time, but they're not taking the turrets, they're not getting the kills in lane to transition them into turrets.
Yep.
They're just not winning the head-to-head matchups in every lane.
Yep.
And Dan needs to step up. He was about 0-6 on Lee Sin partway through the game. I don't remember his final score line, but that's what really stuck with me because it didn't get any better than that. It only got worse from that point. He needs to step up, especially against somebody like Ko, who went 5-2 and 15 last game and was a facilitator of all of the action. Dan didn't really cause any action unless it was quickly over his dead body.
Yeah, true. It was a 10 KDA versus less than 1. That's when you know you've got a pretty rough matchup in the jungle there. But Dan, he is a good player. He got picked up for the team, on the team for a reason. We'll see if they can do it. NIP gonna actually repeat many of their bans. Still the Ziggs removed away. Thresh now left open for themselves. But the Lulu first pick comes through for Vizichati or Aniki.
Yeah, the adjustment here from Unicorns of Love is to ban Twisted Fate and Braum, but that means that they leave up Thresh, which they banned previously. In the actually, it was a ban by
I believe
NIP ban.
Yeah.
They replaced that with the Kassadin.
Yeah, they didn't have to because NIP did it for them. So one other champion was left open this time around. Ninjas in Pyjamas going to make their Wife Steel lane come through. Thresh Lucian. Happy to go ahead and crush the bottom lane. Phreak's going to get a second Lucian game.
Yeah, he loves that champion, especially combined with Voidal, who has another aggressive play style in lane. You see him zone. Usually we talk about when there's an AD carry and a support, you want to have this invisible line between them. He has an invisible diagonal where he's in front all the time. It's like, get behind me, so I'm going to play a support that's always up front. When he plays things like Thresh that are going to be ahead, you're going to play Leona, you're going to play things along the lines of Braum. It's really what he plays to the biggest extent. When he plays other things, like back in the day with Soraka and stuff, it's like, not so much his style.
Sure.
He loves to go in. He loves to be an initiator.
Yeah, well, we're going to see more initiative come through. Unicorns are going to make a few more choices themselves. They will repeat the Aurelia for Vizichati. Loves that champion. Lulu going to hold on to this mid lane here for Aniki, which means NIP could repeat the Gragas for Cabochard if they liked it. And Alex needs a new jungler, or sorry, a new mid laner for himself.
And I'm looking at Hylissang's champion pool, and he played Thresh and Leona, and that's all we've really seen him on. So if you pick the Thresh away from him, Braum is banned out. Is it going to force him onto Leona, and all he can do is just try to Zenith Blade in to a Flay?
Sure. I mean, they've been banning his Morgana every single time for good reason here on the guy, so got to keep that in mind. Ninjas in Pyjamas actually going to grab the Orianna for themselves here for Alex Ich, but Ko gets Lee Sin. And Lee Sin is the one heavily sought after jungler more than everyone else, basically. And you've got Ko, who crushed last time, now getting this champion as well. See how that one pans out for him. UL got to make their last few choices.
It's a lot on the table here for them. He's actually going to go with the Vi.
It's more hard engaged. It's more team fighty, hard engaged type teams.
Yeah, this team fight isn't as potent currently. Ninjas in Pyjamas, they don't have the Twisted Fate anymore, but Alex Ichi's on that Orianna, which is definitely one of those top tier mid laners currently. Usually always is. I don't think Orianna's ever fallen out of favor. It's always kind of
been around.
The backbone. She does everything that a AP mid needs to do.
Sure.
Show up to the fights, deal damage, deal AoE damage, displacement, etc., and have a good laning phase where you auto-attack trade people. So I think Alex, we're in for some Orianna treats because I think he gets very aggressive with that champion and very zony.
Well, here's the one big risk, though, for NIPs. They've got a little bit of anti-synergy. Gragas and Orianna both do very different things with their ultimates, and they can kind of sabotage each other. But as long as NIP can coordinate that, they're going to be fine. They're going to keep a lot of these matchups the same. Cabochard repeating Gragas versus Aurelia. Vizichati, honestly, I think liked it last time. It's just a matter of not getting cancelled by the jungler here, and he could succeed in this matchup. NIP, great team fighting lineup, plenty of damage to come through. UOL, once again, look for 5v5s with much better lanes this time around.
Yeah, definitely the Caitlyn Nami lane is much easier in the early game to go up against anything that's Lucian.
Anything, period.
Yeah, that's true. It's definitely the bully lane with the ebb and flow sustain, and then the Tidecaller's blessing auto attacks with 650 range is just really, really difficult to deal with. Ko might have to pay some attention to that bottom lane, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past Freeze and Voidal to actually come out on top, because I've seen stranger things.
You land a hook, lanes turn around. I mean, Lucian's got so much all-in potential for his damage output. Like, you land a hook, things going to go wrong for these guys. So you have to keep that in mind. You got to respect the skill shots. But yeah, on paper, that lane should go well to Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, it's all about the dodging the hooks, because if you end up getting Hylissang, the fish on a hook, all you do is just sit there and wriggle for a bit, You're going to take a ton of damage.
It's going to be painful overall. We'll see how they can play it out. NIP, last time around, played their composition made on really spreading people out and getting random picks. Worked very well. The Evelyn Twisted Fate was awesome for them. New look for them this time. Much more direct how they're going to play. And we'll see if NIP can keep it up with even more compositions. Unicorns of Love, once again, playing a very similar type of team. They've got Vi instead of Lee Sin, but basically it's going to press R in your back line. They want to go and hit you with the mid laner's R as well to get you kind of knocked up in a circle.
And then Cabochard's just going to separate everybody and beat Gragas. Just do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, honestly. And I want to see, I basically want to see if UOL can basically change it around, right? Not get picked off so much. Get to those team fights that they're good at, and then actually put in a close game.
Yeah, that's what they're going to excel at in this game. But they have a little more lane bullying in the bottom lane, so they're not going to be completely pushed over there. In the mid lane, it's a pretty even matchup between Lulu and Orianna, so it's going to go back and forth there. Ko is going to be the upsetting factor here alongside Dan.
Absolutely.
What can you do to tip the scales in your team's favor? Once again, the top lane, though, it's Gragas-Aurelia matchup.
Yep.
I give it to Gragas.
Gotta see, man. Cabochard won it last time. A lot of that was because of Ko. I do want to see Ko versus Dan really heavily here. I think this is actually a very important matchup there. I also think that Dan's going to have a little bit better time clearing his jungle than last time. Vi with those shields. I mean, you can correct me, he's a better jungler than I am, but I feel like Vi has a pretty high health clear.
Both Lee Sin and Vi have pretty good health clears. It's just that Dan went for a longer clear, and Ko was already sitting in the bush.
Okay.
That was really the big deciding factor there.
Ooh, I think Dan just got spotted.
Yeah,
he walked out of the brush.
He stepped out.
Ko assumes he's a Vi in the brush anyway, so they're just going to square off against each other. No big deal. Battle lines drawn. Once again, these supports and AD carries are on the wrong side. They need to just, you know, it's like top, jungle, mid. Support AD is not the way you're supposed to turn this one out, but
maybe we're wrong. Maybe we need to swap them on the scoreboard.
You know, when we actually first thought about how to organize these, I initially suggested support above AD.
Oh, okay.
The lines of where everyone puts, like 2 years ago or whatever, because then all of your 3 carry lanes were separated by 2 lines.
Ah, so that the lower CS ones, it's like high CS.
They're kind of like spread apart.
Low CS jungler, high CS mid lane, low CS support. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, my
apparently
my
I was like the
fine.
only person who suggested that basically. So just went with AD carries above.
That's
the
why we didn't do it, because you suggested it.
Yeah, it's all my fault.
Nobody ever takes your suggestions. Rightfully so.
Wow.
Rightfully so.
Okay.
Phreak ever gives you advice, do not take it. It's usually counter advice.
Wow. I can't even believe you just said that. Well, you know what? I hope
I'm not wrong, though.
I'm going to suggest you to keep on breathing.
It's not good advice.
Well, here we go. Top lane, Ninjas in Pyjamas. Ko gonna go ahead and grab his Lizard for himself. Ooh, Q comes out from Freeze. Q's gonna hit for the Caitlyn as well, and already the heals coming out for Hylissang. First couple waves, incredibly important. How well can they push the waves in? Yeah, UOL, faster pushing it seems.
Look at this. This just actually seems really fast for a level 1. It's back and forth, back and forth.
They're killing minions as fast as possible, and there you go. NIP forced to run away. They realize they've lost that trade.
Nope.
He's already back. That's why we had a very long time before the game started, was that pause right there for him to reconnect. But he's here, so we're good. And up against the turret. Voidal unfortunately having to use his first stack on a caster minion. If he uses another stack, he won't get the cannon.
Look at that. Cabochard already bullying around Vizicachi. He'll actually hit 2 off of this wave. And the big thing here, too, is they both have a lot of potions to chug, but I like that Vizicachi ended up backing off because he just knew he couldn't hold toe-to-toe with level 2.
And you mentioned Dan taking longer jungle routes right there. He's actually slower on his way to the red buff here. Did do Wolves. Looks like Ko did Wraiths himself. Now he's taking the Wolves himself. So Ko's actually got a faster start right there by about half of the camp.
Yeah, that's definitely true. His clear time is a little bit better right now. What's that going to mean for the first gank, though?
Right now, looking at White to stay near the bottom lane. He knows this is the place of action. Bubble is going to be up soon. The hook is available for Thresh.
Ko's actually going to be pretty healthy coming into this first gank. It's not going to be the same situation because he was using his smite when he had his Iron Will on.
It's a good way to get some health back. Level 3, Ko looks down for the bottom lane, not getting that 1 extra camp for 4.
Yeah, no wards here.
Pretty equal so far. UOL did not put any wards on when they last pushed out. Their trinkets are on cooldown.
Jungler's on the complete other side. This is Ko's style, early gank.
This is about as high as the wave's going to push. The next one's going to show up soon. Here they go.
him.
Voidal looks for it. The jump over the wall. Nice play. He's going to hit Hillsong. The bubble does not land. He's got to be careful. Actually, Nami doesn't even lose any summoners. Vardogs did, but 2-for-1 summoners, that's it.
Yep, use the heal and the flash there from Vardogs, but the flash and the ignite from Voidal. So 2 for 2.
2 for 2. Yeah, I missed the ignite there. Dan's going to go to the top lane here with double buffs. Cabo Shard.
No ward. He's going to go ward in... Actually, in a long time, he doesn't have it yet. But
Dan looks
no assistance here.
for it.
This is Chachi.
Can't get in. Cabo Shard played just safe enough. Way out of the range of Aurelia. Said, if Vi shows, I can get out. Nicely done.
One of those situations where, as a jungler, you're trying to communicate, I want to gank now, but your top laner wants to farm. Your top laner, if they end up trying to assist you in the gank, they lose too much gold underneath the turret that if the gank doesn't work out, you basically put them 100 in the hole.
Yeah. Well, right now, Vizichachi actually manages to stay equal on CS, but he's the first to teleport there with double Thorns.
Has an advantage now.
Yeah, he goes for the trade because of this one. Cabo Shard heals up best he can, trades back. Actually, pretty good damage back to Vizichachi, who's got to be a bit careful.
Cabo Shard's going to have to be a little careful here, but if he's baiting Vizichachi in, Vizichachi has the ward. He's looking for it.
Q lands. Good's going to land the stun here. He's got to be careful the rest of this, though. Walks right on back. Of course, no CCs left available. Loses some health for it, though. He's going to run out of potions for too long.
He's in a pretty good spot, though, in the overall. He'll try to stop the back. Yeah.
He's going to spot the guy. All right, out he goes, but that is a main ward used and the trinket. He sees Cabo Shard still around. That's fine. And this actually is a potential freeze if Cabo Shard doesn't break that apart.
Speaking of freeze, Dan is here.
Gonna look for it. There's the dash. The flash bubble. They hit Voidal. The man has no summoners available. Can they case one down? Looks like they cannot. The hook will hit Hillsong, though. Decent damage comes out from freeze, but not much else grabbed.
So they end up getting the flash for it, but Hillsong also blowing the exhaust. Flash exhaust down, yeah.
Can't stop the recall in time, but you know what? He got a freeze. That's all that really matters right here. This minion wave is going to be a lot more gold for the guy. Triple Doran's ring for Cabo Shard is the opening build. Interesting setup there.
Well, if you're an early game Gragas, you want to keep pushing the early game against Aurelia, who tries to scale with items. Keep her down. Keep her down really hard. Doesn't matter how much you scale into the grand scheme of things, as long as you keep the Aurelia down and you're ahead of her when you show up to team fights.
That's true. That's the big important part. And Ko actually is on a flanker here. Vizichachi, half HP. There's Ko. This is not a good thing for the Unicorns. Left top laner flash the way, but Ko, if he lands the Q, not going to get anything for this one. Stays alive. Dan forced to run top lane, but Cabo Shard's 6. They could force again. And out goes Vizichachi.
Yeah, he has to back off right now. Cabo Shard now having the explosive cask available. Dan making his way up top. They're going to leave the minion wave. Zone him out. Gets Dan.
Level 5 on both. Dan's got to be careful. Knocks Ko into the turret. Good damage comes through. And now Vizichachi wants to fight Cabo Shard. Ulti forced to get away from this one. Cabo still does have flash. Drinks from the flask. He's going to stay okay. This will allow UOL to pick up XP finally here in this lane, but that is a big experience disadvantage, though.
Yeah, no ward there from UOL to see the back. But look at that. Cabo Shard actually stays off the back of that. Vizichachi now hitting 6 and having the Transcendent Blades. So far, NIP, they're playing it a little bit better, but it's still pretty damn close.
It's pretty close. And Nikki and Dan going to go ahead and grab the Golem buff here. Cabo Shard's got to be real careful. No ulti charges left. One hit roughly from dead. Vizichachi can't chase anything more.
Still had his flash, too, so Cabo Shard was not going to panic on that one.
Yeah, but Nikki is losing this mid lane to Alexich right now. You're seeing 67 to 52 in minions. Alex recalling back now to get his first set of items. And it's going to be a difficult thing now for Nikki, who I believe can't match that same set of items if he recalls here.
Spot lane, though, there's actually a Doran's Blade up for Vardags, who was the member of the team that was carrying them throughout the previous rounds and in the previous summer, but didn't get to face off against NIP at all. So now he's getting his chance.
Well, he's holding up so far. Again, as you mentioned, he bought the extra Doran's on his recall just to keep his lane in a good spot. Tier 2 GP10 already picked up there for Voidal versus Sightstone for Hillsong. Ko wants to invade there, walks through a ward while doing so, and Dan backs off saying, I need my team before I do this.
Oh.
Ko has no way of knowing.
Yeah, all he did was throw the Q out, so he might think that the red is actually gone already.
Dan defensively wards, and he's going to get this one. Vardogs is around just to defend, puts the trap down as well, and they're going to be safe with this one. Out goes Ko, and the red buff will go through. NIP going to take their time pushing this wave up, hoping to deny as many minions as they can, and there's one. So far, an extended laning phase, but this laning phase is equal. It's 11,000 gold to both teams. Ulti's starting to become available. Knockback there won't get him into the turret. Vizichachi, can he win this fight, though? Really good damage from Cabochard so far. Hits a ward one time. Stun comes out. Vizichachi's got to be real careful. Next set of cooldowns. Q's going to land as well.
Body slamming through. The big thing about top lane Gragas, it's very hard to get away from him. He'll do the percent HP damage with his W. He has a slow on his Q, and he's a stun on his E. The amount of crowd control he has in his kit is ridiculous. 3 of his 4 abilities put some type of status onto you.
Yep. The status right now is low on health for Vizichachi. Vardog's going to clear away some of these minions, but Ko is waiting in the wings. He's got to be careful there. Stun again, and a Cabochard actually in the turret range. This could be the chance at a kill. Dashes in with the Q. Flash not available for him, but Cabochard does have
body
it.
slam in 1.
Ooh, does get out, but 150 health without TP.
Not using flash either. Still holding on to it.
Good instincts then by Cabochard to know how much damage he can take, what he can withstand, what he cannot. So far, that's going okay. This bot lane starting to look a little bit bad for UOL. You're seeing Vardogs now forced to last hit with built-over Peacemakers. Hook nearly hits Hylissang there. And it feels like NIP gaining confidence in this duo lane.
Yeah, it really does. The way that they're playing right now, despite not having any pressure from Ko, is really aggressive. Also, I actually think Unicorns of Love are playing this early game really, really well. Like I was saying, NIP's playing it a little bit better.
Ooh, the attempt, they hit Hylissang. He could get through the box safely, though, and he will do so. Now the tidal wave comes in. It does knock up on Thresh. Big damage coming through.
Freeze still available.
Yep, he pops the summoner heal. EQ comes out. Ulti blocked. Oh! No! Freeze walks too far down, and the kill goes to Vardogs.
Wow. I don't know. Was he trying to dodge the bubble and not walk straight into it? But Freeze ends up on the wrong side of the ace in the hole. Just too many distractions. And look at that. Dragon is actually being started up by UOL.
Look at this one. 300 gold due to the kill, and the Dragon going to make that one closer to over 1,000. They claim that. But now they got to be careful. Freeze is around. Alex is going to go ahead and dodge the bubble. Got to be careful. Hylissang does have flash. Spams a couple of taunts, and out he goes.
Yeah. Gets right over the wall with that one. Dan had his ultimate available, but they decided to just back off, which is the right choice. They now have a gold lead for, I think, one of the first times in the entire series.
Sure, they gave up first blood in the first game.
Yeah. And a big thing here, I was looking at it, thinking about it, and they haven't let Ko get the early aggression. Ko is all about diving your turret, getting these picks, and Vizichachi played it right. They came top, Dan responded, he stalled, walked back. They gave up some CS, but that's perfectly fine as long as you don't give up your life. And now he's holding toe-to-toe with Cabochard right now.
So got to be a bit careful, though. He's taking some decent damage. Nice dodge in the body slam. Ulti, of course, already down. Vizichachi healing up as best he can with his own. But Cabochard's one set of skills away from getting the kill on Vizichachi. He's got to respect the fact that he doesn't know if Lee Sin's around.
Ooh, another big thing too, though, is that Cabochard has the Catalyst. If he gets level 9 off of this wave, he's going to be much healthier than Vizichachi.
I don't think Vizichachi should stay right here. I know his teleport's down. He'd lose a lot, but it's so easy for him to die to Lee Sin here. He's got Dan as support, but there's the engage, the flash stun, the Q hits. Cabochard with a very simple kill right there. Nicely done.
Yep, well played by Cabochard underneath the turret on Vizichachi. Didn't really leave him any options. The Catalyst gave him just a lot more HP, put himself in a very confident situation. Now they can go ahead and invade the jungle. They're still 1,000 gold down, though, because of the Dragon. Look at that, Ko, right in time for the blue, and Alex is here as well. Defensive
ward is there. Dan is around, does not have Smite, so now it's a battle of... blue actually goes to Ko just to make sure they got it. Didn't know the Smite cooldowns or anything, and Nikki...
lands the Q. Oh, but Dan's here.
Nope, out he goes, jumps to a ward. Could have jumped to Alex, didn't want to. Whatever, it's flash for that way. And out he goes. So, NIP, they find a kill back. They get a blue buff, steal the gold within 200 now. And of course, they got the top lane turret as well. That's why the gold's so close.
That turret, we're going to have to see what both teams end up doing with it. Because when you take the turret, it allows a little bit of an easier freeze for Vizichachi lower down in the lane. Cabochard are going to continue to bully him. There aren't a lot of options there left. Might start grouping up with the team, and then trying to create pressure in other lanes and pulling Vizichachi out of the top.
See if they can do that, because Dragon right now is down. And heck, they already stole one of the buffs, so not too much you can do. Ko did rush Boots of Moby, by the way. Double longsword mobility boots, so he's getting all across the map, making what plays he can. Not necessarily finding kills, but still creating
Voidal's
some pressure. Voidal's got to be careful. Ulti is popped. Here comes the team, though. Do they have the damage? Dan kicked around. Vardox claims one, but they will lose their jungler for it. And here comes QuarterFinals. Damage into Hylissang. Q comes down. Ulti as well. Easily claimed kill. Nicely done.
God, he like threw the explosive cast into a kick, but look at that. Alex dueling a Nikki right now.
Oh!
Flanked around.
Dodges the Q. He lands his own Glitter Lance, but now he's got to run away. Freeze is on the other side of him. Another Glitter Lance lands. Gets some damage down, though. Good flash by Nikki. Q. Nope, you won't do it. You wouldn't do it, Ko. Yeah, that's right.
Ko's aggressive, but he's not
that
stupid.
Aggressive. Nah, he's doing all right. And actually, look at this one. Red buff steal as well now because the team is mostly dead. Freeze there. Maybe he can claim that for himself. Nope, gotta go to Freeze. So all 4 of the second buffs. Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Freeze!
still,
wow! Vardox finds it anyway.
Goes back over.
Jumps over, heals a Nikki. Ko forced to get away. Trap provision. The Q comes out. Nicely done by Dan with the flash as well. Man, UOL fight.
The punish off of that was huge. Now they're gonna be able to go after this mid turret and the blue and just return in kind to the buff that was stolen earlier.
Well, they knew they were gonna run out of minions because of Orianna, so the blue buff steal will come through. Vizichachi gets that one. But now they've got to be careful for Voidal. He is alone in the bottom lane. Like, they could dive this.
Yeah, they could easily dive this right now. At the same time, Vizichachi, he has teleport. QuarterFinals trying to get it out of him. I don't know if he's going to use it just yet. He'll probably wait on his CS and then use it for the next team fight because he knows QuarterFinals doesn't have his.
All right, well, drag it up in 140, and that's going to be the potential emphasis here then. You know you've got the teleport advantage. Voidal is holding the freeze right now for his AD carry. There's the minions. They're going to stay safe. Ko just going to keep farming up his own jungle now, so that will be, ultimately, I guess it's kind of like a 3 buff, but with the doubles going back over to Dan from killing Ko. Maybe that doesn't really count that way, but you almost thought NIP won that second jungle respawn, but
yeah,
not necessarily the case.
Hylissang off on the right side. They do not see him just yet. And
oh no, Nikki way too aggressive. Ults up, gets knocked back by QuarterFinals. He's got nowhere to go. Nicely done, NIP, just pulling people down.
Baited him into that, went a little too far forward and thought it was a 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 in his favor.
Yep.
Ends up being a 3-on-2. Hylissang books it out of there. Doesn't even show himself.
No. Nothing you can do for that one. Mid lane gonna take a little damage. Now Hylissang does show up, gets a slow into Alex. Goes around, goes for the tidal wave. That's a little aggressive. His team was rejoining, and actually there's the bubble. Maybe that's enough? It's not.
The solo Nami. I didn't see anybody else on the screen from his team for a while there.
They were kind of nearby. He had support coming. But
supporting the support.
Yep, why not? That's how league's actually played. You support the support. They're the real carries. Right now, 800 gold puts Unicorns of Love in the lead here in Game 2. They need to win out if they want to make it and have any decent shot of the playoffs. I think they can, if they lose here, technically potentially make it, because they will have 3 points and they can maybe go for a tie for 6.
Ko's getting caught, though.
Nice
into the
knock
bubble.
Back onto Dan. Now comes the engage back in there, and they will claim the kill thanks to Vardox. Nice ulti there. Dan staying alive, just barely hooking a Hylissang, though they want this fight after all. Box comes down, but Voidal now in the middle of 3 enemy champions. Maybe too aggressive. Q comes out, kill picked up by Vizichachi, and now Alex Ich is caught a little bit on his side of the jungle. Slow comes in. Ooh. Not too much more.
I think just keep picking up more and more for Unicorns of Love there.
And Dragon's up.
Very convincing fights. Dragon is up right now. Ko is down. They don't have a smite available, and Dan is in a position where he can get right over the wall and be there in time.
I don't think we'll even contest. They're going to look around, but
they have their AoE still left.
Yeah, but that's such a big risk for Ninjas and Pyjamas. Hylissang, Vizichachi going to force them away. Looks like the shockwave's going to land. Hylissang gets the shield in time to stay alive, and Dragon goes down after 2 ultis.
Yeah, that was about the only move they could make with those 2 AoE ultimates. I was thinking about it, I'm like, they could probably kill one of them, and they were thinking the same thing, but they didn't get it off in time.
All right, well, good shields. Yep, good shields by Nikki, watching out and making sure they got that one. Now mid lane under fire for NIP. They cleared the wave, and Nikki trying to defend. There's a Chachi, a bit of a 2v2.
Yeah, up. The big... Nope. So right now, Unicorns of Love are actually winning in gold by about 3K. The big part of that, though, is this bottom lane. Vardags is coming up huge. 100% kill participation. Even CS with Freeze. Hylissang has been doing a wonderful job with his bubbles all game. Look at that, Vardags, 1,300 gold up over Freeze right now. It was the matchup we talked about coming into this game, that both these are excellent players that carry their team on a regular basis.
Oh, nice job, forces the flash from QuarterFinals. So more good things keep happening for Unicorns of Love. Burning the cooldowns, making good plays. Vardox on 1v2 though, did not want to be there. Freeze claims the kill out of the turret.
Speaking of aggression and speaking of this bottom lane matchup.
Yep.
Freeze and Voidal, the synergy is real, and it shows. Hylissang's still on the page of we're roaming around. Voidal's off that page.
Yeah, wasn't out of turret to kill, man. Pick that one up. You know, Vardogs, he was 100% of kill participation for his team, but he was 0% for the enemy team. So he wanted to raise that one.
All right, wanted to get himself a little bit more on the board.
Yeah.
Give himself more stats. Ko in the backside here, but also Hylissang. Same time.
Push in on this one, but a bit of a flank there. Nami is around. He's got to be a bit careful. Kick back. Dan clears the wave, and not much else grabbed.
I'm surprised he didn't kick Hylissang further back, away from the turret.
I think there was a chance that they didn't want him to like get a good tidal wave and lock them down longer because they knew they were alone. NIP did. So, I mean, either way, right?
Yeah.
Disengage, get out. They know it's a bad spot. They're not going to win the fight.
It's too far forward without enough ward coverage.
Yeah, exactly. And also no teammates coming in. That's kind of the big part. So, NIP back to the mid lane, down 2,000 gold, but they did win the first game. This time, though, they have way less advantages than they did the last time around, so they've got to work with what they've got for themselves.
Hey, your gold lead from game 1 doesn't carry over to game 2.
No, it does not. That would be
that'd be ridiculous.
Game 1 would be kind of important. You just wouldn't close the game out.
It's still extremely important.
Of course it is. 50% of the wins.
Gives you more wiggle room. Allows you to make plays.
They win the turret. Vardog's got the gold. He's got to be careful, though, for the hooks here. Gets behind the minions, a flash play. Flash out of the box. Here comes Vincent, but here comes Ko as well. This Aurelia's got to be pretty careful, but wants this fight. There's the rest of them. The ulti's in towards Ko, and down he goes. Dan, +1 gold, thanks to the help from the Caitlyn. Free's going to go down as well. They do kill Kate back.
Combo's on the backside now,
already. Voidal will die. 3-1 so far, and QuarterFinals, no reason to rejoin this fight. Here's Shockwave hitting 2, but isn't enough damage. Alex really wants this, but it's not going to be enough. Heal comes through to keep QuarterFinals alive. Doesn't matter anyway. And actually a trap hits Alex Stitch in the foot. The stun going to come out as well, but the Chachi gets a shield, and NIP actually get aced in the bottom lane for 1 kill.
And now a 5k gold lead. They end up getting the turret too, making it even in turrets, and now they're going to get even more off of this. The blue buff is up. His turret is ripe for the taking right now. Ko, he's going to try to run up and see what he can do. This was really a trickle in here. Look at the map right now. Look at the difference in who's in the right position. That teleport actually ends up in the left side. He's going after Vardags. He kills him here with the explosive cask, which he could have used earlier, later on in this fight. Ends up coming up, but the rest of the team has already been trailed off and killed. They try to do a little bit of a combo here with Alex Each and QuarterFinals. They get 2. No explosive cask available at this point. And QuarterFinals ends up getting kicked off, as well as a beautiful bubble here from Hylissang. Just the bubbles of Hylissang all game long have been on point. Alex was not in a position from the start of that engagement to be there. His mana wasn't where he wanted it to be. His presence on the map and his rotation and the time it would have taken him to get there was not what NIP wanted. Unicorns of Love, on the other hand, they were in the right spot at the right time. They rotated earlier, they saw the fight coming, and predicted that NIP would be aggressive in the bottom lane when the turret went down.
Yeah, honestly, NIP had the right members there. I saw Ko and I said NIP. Unicorns of Love had the right members there. The very end of that fight, you saw Alex, he limped in into a 2v4. Like, that is a guaranteed lost fight. And he's like, I'm going to flash heal, and then dies with no gains. Like, NIP are being over-aggressive now. They are assuming the role of better team and saying, if we fight you, we will win. If we show, and we saw that again at the end of game 1 as well. They went into that 5v5 in front of Baron and lost the battle horribly because of that. NIP a little bit look like they are underestimating Unicorns of Love, saying, oh, this is going to be easy no matter what. We 2'd them last time. NIP are willingly taking bad fights.
Yeah, they're being very over-aggressive. And now I think it's starting to resonate with them that, oh, we're actually really behind now at 5k gold. They've lost the last couple of team fights just in sheer numbers off the back end.
But here's the hard thing to even keep in mind. I would not be able to expect a 5,000 gold deficit with this kind of score. You both have 1 turret. Your CS is actually winning for most of your lanes, and you're only down 5 kills. And like NIP probably thought they were maybe even ahead in gold at that point. Because of their great mechanical skill. That's actually not the case here, of course. You're seeing now more like 6,000 gold lead for Unicorns of Love, and this is going to kind of keep happening here.
I really love the fact that Unicorns of Love didn't fall into the trap of NIP with Ko in the early game. We said Dan needs to have a better game. He's doing it. He's 3-1-5 right now. He didn't fall into the trap that Ko was going to early gank and then give up 2 kills under turret. It could have happened top. It very well could have happened. Ko was there. Cabo Shard was zoning. Now look at this. 24 minutes into the game, Ko is desperate to try and get in on this dragon, which is a situation he's not too familiar with in the challenger scene.
But look at the lack of vision there for NIP. They actually had the chance to dive the dragon right then and cut off a Nikki and Vizichachi from the team and fight it 5v3, force flashes away, force him to escape and get dragon.
Oh.
With lack of vision. And now the hesitation, Shockwave misses as well. Not a good thing. Tidal Wave, they really want this kill, but there's nothing to grab there. A little aggressive for Hylissang.
A lot of skill shots flying every which direction there. And now Unicorns of Love are going to get themselves a turret in a couple of hits. Good back off there. Whew. His belly was like a bubble there too.
Yep. It's part of the animation. Turret stays alive for now. But UOL just simply grouping up, saying, we can siege you. They've got Caitlyn Lulu. Their siege is great right now. Vizichachi does join the team. He, by the way, went for the Distortion Enchantment both this game and last time for lower flash and TP cooldowns. Maybe you can play around those a little bit better. Cabo Shard still has some time to go before he can scale up. And Unicorns of Love so far have just found the better engagements. They've got all 3 outer turrets down. They've been controlling dragons, and that means they're 8,000 gold out.
It's really those dragons. The kills have been good, the turrets that they've gotten for themselves, but the dragons are what kept them in the game, in the early game, and then allowed them to get this snowball going. They're now 7.8k gold up over the team that took second.
Yep.
2-0'd them last time. Really big accomplishment here from UOL, just in this singular game.
Sure.
Like, just playing the early game correct against NIP is huge. Like, every time I talk about Ko, it's early aggression that sets up the rest of his team. He's a facilitator in that regard. His KDA will be low because he sacrifices himself half the time for turret dives in the early game to get his lanes going. But they didn't fall into that trap. That's really, really important because now, 25 minutes in, same point that we were in last game, NIP had this type of lead over UOL.
And last time around, NIP did close it out, so maybe we have the repeat performance in UOL keeps it going. Ward control, now the name of the game. They're setting up around Baron a little bit. They're sweeping wards away from Dragon. Their pinks are still around Dragon. They might want to switch those around. Tier 2 turrets can be hard to close out.
Lee Sin's blind, but when there's Nami nearby, something smells fishy.
Oh, the flashing gates. Alex is going to get ulted by as well. Tidal Wave misses, but the damage comes through. Shockwave does not come through in time. Out goes Ko. He stays alive. Hook on the Vizichachi, though. Got to be a bit careful. Barrels coming through. This could be bad for Hylissang, and it is. They go 1 for 1, to be fair. NIP keep on this one.
Yeah, they almost got Ko there as well. He actually just disappeared in front of your eyes with a flash. Thought he died there, but it was in a mid laner for support, and Alex didn't get to do anything. He just got to blow some summoner spells. No ultimate used there either. Just a huge dive from UOL, and then NIP had to take those extra seconds to collapse. Cabo Shard came in from the left side and really delayed because of, it wasn't the fact that he would have been delayed normally, is that UOL just pulled the trigger very quickly, and speaking of pulling the trigger, they go onto a Nikki.
And Nikki gets the flash away. Nice, he's gonna try! Oh. The shield, he stays alive! Oh. No, he does not freeze with the Ardent Blaze at max range. Nicely done.
Impaled by a beam of light.
Yep.
It's gotta be one hell of a way to go.
It's a really rough sunburn if it kills you.
At least it cauterizes.
Yes, it does. Vizichachi might want this fight, but they gotta be careful. It's a 4-on-5. Alex is just coming in. This is really risky, but they want it anyway. Voidal takes damage. There's Ko. 2-man knock-up. He finds Hylissang. Vardog's in the backline as well. Dan does go down. Freeze finds the kill on that one. Willingly 5v4.
Vardog does a lot of damage right now.
And he does put damage into Ko and Voidal, but Unicorns of Love now 3v5 on the map.
Ended up losing 2 members there. Dan. Granted, there is no big objective that needs to be smited away currently on the map, so it's not a huge loss. But look at that, Vizichachi, so aggressive. Vardog does so much damage right now. The Phantom Dancer, he's definitely out-damaging Freeze. And they're going to go straight for this turret.
There we go, going to have to be back with that for a short time. Ko very low on health, so we cannot join this battle. Hops farther away before he recalls.
Vizichachi, he's looking for him.
What if he like random
Oh
R's
my
this?
god.
Oh, it's down. He couldn't, he had no way of doing it. Would have been funny, though. By the way, so Banshee's Veil done for Vizichachi. Different build from last time. Very much focused on being tanky for the team fights. Yes, he's got Zerk Greaves to be a high damage threat, but the 3, 1, and 4 Aurelia working exceptionally well, despite a honestly fairly rough lane. It was hard fought.
Not as hard as last time. Because he
didn't give up.
Kept going.
His jungler didn't give his opponent's first blood.
Yeah. I think the big thing here for Vizichachi is his build and the fact that the rest of the lanes are doing well. So he doesn't feel the need to be a split push threat with Zephyr and just damage items. Now he's like, okay, Vardogs is huge. Let's be a wall for him. Let's get ourselves some defensive stats so we can just tank up and make it so I don't drop in 2 seconds and have to deal with the damage, because Vardags is going to do it for me.
Well, everyone's got their own ideas in this, though. I agree with you that like setting up a wall for Caitlyn's great right here and letting him kind of break down the no true tanks of NIP. Thing is, Aniki's actually going for a split push build with Lichbane third. I do love Deathcap second.
Up, though. I think they're just going to use it to kill
steal
turrets.
damage.
Yeah. I don't see
sieging rather.
Yeah, I don't see Aniki split pushing.
I don't either, but he's definitely going for a turret killing build more so than a team fight build. Yeah. So I do love Deathcap second. I think it's optimal on Lulu, as it is for most mages, but especially Lulu. I think really is best served picking that item up. Unicorns of Love, though, happily making their way down towards the bottom lane. And look at this, actually. Gonna look pretty nice. Stun on a Cabochard bubble as well. They stay on this one. Hook comes out. Ko and Free still not around. There was a little bit more time for UOL, but they were afraid without vision.
Dragon up in 10 seconds right now. They have the actual inside track to it. Hill is saying he's actually in range of a ward hop Q, but Ko takes a big chunk of damage.
Loses about a quarter of his health. NIP's got to be a bit careful. Sweep, no wards nearby. Dragon now going down. Hillifang's got to be careful.
Immediately.
Cabochard lands the Q only on one.
They're grouped up.
Still around. They've got to be careful with the shockwave. Now they back up. NIP have a way to engage this if they want it. UOL the same, but Dan is not yet very tanky. Nice steal by Ko. Tidal Wave comes in, does not land on more than 2 people, and it is not enough to start the fight. NIP walk through. Mid lane is attackable, though. They can actually push onto this turret and force NIP to fight them.
Ko's just going to wrap around. He could possibly kick somebody into his team.
Oh, two-man kick. Dan loses the Q. Shockwave hits on 2 as well. The fight has begun. The knockbacks. Dan goes in on Ko as well. Dan very low, and Nikki will go down. 1 for nothing. Vardogs claims 1 kill. 2-1 so far. Can he keep chasing? Ko goes down. 2-0 so far. Unicorns of Love trying to chase on down. The ball still on the ground. Alexich does have mana. Just wave clears.
Nobody was on Vardags that entire fight. The red buff Caitlyn, granted they did end up getting the good targets inside of the kick, but then he was just off on the side. Great positioning there by him. But at the same time, look at that. Now UOL are in a siege position off that fight that went even.
But they can't quite say. They know the respawns are coming soon, and they respect the hook for good reason. All the support, well, the biggest support of Lulu was gone right there, so not a lot of ways to protect them from that. They're fine. Vizicachi heads back to the top lane to farm up. The buffs respawning as well. Unicorns of Love back down to a 4,000 gold lead. Ninjas Pyjamas have crawled their way back in a little bit.
Big part of that was that dragon that got taken over by Ko. I don't know why Unicorns of Love decided to start it up so quickly. They didn't have ward coverage on their right side when they were retreating. You can see it right now. The wards are still in the same spots. NIP wrestled ward control of that area, and UOL couldn't really see their entrance, but they knew they were right behind them. They had seen them previously. But they decided to go straight for it, trying to take it out before they got there, but NIP just take the dragon pretty easily.
Yeah, they couldn't quite do it. So Ninjas Pyjamas have been able to fight well, and I know I criticized them a little bit earlier, saying they're so willing to fight, they're not expecting the gold deficit. But at the same time, you do have to actually go in and fight your opponents if you want to get your way back in. You can't sit there and say, well, we hope they throw up, or sorry, screw up. We hope they throw up. Hopefully not from sickness, but we hope they screw up and throw the game away. So not really the best way to play the game. So I do like that NIP are playing properly aggressively enough, and it's working. They're getting the gold back just a little bit, under 4,000 gold now, the deficit. And NIP waiting around for now.
Sweeping the defensive positioning here, but Unicorns of Love in a good spot to rotate here. Vizicachi split pushing on the bottom side, has the stinger. So he's going to go for the Zephyr after he got the Banshee's Veil. And now it's the flank attempt here from Cabochard. Okay,
they do not have Vizicachi yet. He has nothing to TP to right now. The minions are kind of far away, but they do not get chased down, so life stays safe. Vizicachi going to create pressure on this turret. No one's going to defend him. This could be a turret kill.
Cabochard has TP. He's going to have to run straight in there.
He's going to home guard. That could still be enough for the turret to go down. He's trying to make his way over, but look at the health bar here. Vizicachi gets the turret. Unicorns of Love managed to pull NIP at top lane, disengage safely, and got the turret kill for it.
Very well played there. Look at the hook onto Hillisang. He's going to take it? No.
All right, now mid lane, we'll focus on these guys, but look at the ward coverage that's changed now. 3 pink wards down, 2 at Baron, 1 on the right side of mid, couple of wards down in the northern jungle as well for Unicorns of Love, and they're sweeping away. This is starting to look much better for these guys. They can control the Baron area.
They're definitely showing that they are a top challenger team, being the 7th seed coming into this. They're still playing fantastically against the number 2 from last season.
Look how afraid NIP is to check on Baron. They're taking their time with this one. Like, this could have been started 10 seconds earlier and nearly been dead right now, but Ko is around. He still has Sightstone wards, so UOL can't really keep going for this one. They actually pull Cabochard without TP. He walks up for that one. I really feel like he could have kept hitting the bottom turret and creating pressure there. I'm surprised with this move.
Doesn't want to use the TP and then just have it completely negated. And they back off of it. Because then that gives Vizichachi the wiggle room to use his TP.
It's true.
It's just a funny game that rotates around that spell, especially since Vizichachi has the distortion boots.
Yeah.
And Cabochard does not.
He's actually going for Zephyr now, so 0 armor items at all in Vizichachi.
Yeah. Got the Banshee's Veil, cares more about the magic damage threats.
Why not?
Those are going to be the people who split push against him, though.
True, yeah.
Pushing.
He would kill Freeze in one go without armor items just because of the stun and everything else. So Vizichachi playing the itemization game pretty much correct. I gotta say, it is still pretty fearless to be like, look, I'm one of 2 melee champions on my team. I'm going to build 1 tank item exactly.
Yeah, tanking turrets, though, is something he has to watch out for.
Absolutely it is.
That's going to be Vi's job coming into this. That's going to be Dan. Dan the man. See if he can do it.
Unicorns of Love still playing top jungle. The gold deficit, actually, they've grown it back up to 4.4 thousand gold. Dragon in 1 minute, and they've actually retained ward coverage over this northern jungle and the Baron area. This is blind right now for Ninjas in Pyjamas. To get vision back, they look to push the top lane down a little bit.
Nikki looking for Ko. They see him leave the jungle. That's actually the information they wanted, was where is he now? If they couldn't catch him, at least know where he is. Figure out where he is.
They're getting what vision they can. Sweepers back and forth. NIP killing away wards. As soon as Unicorns of Love give up control of the Baron area, NIP run in there, clear all the wards away, and say, you have to earn this again.
They don't have their front line in the front line right now. That's very, very scary for Unicorns of Love when you have your mid laner and your AD carry sitting there. But look at
they found Freeze. The bubble hits as well. This is not what he wanted. And down he goes. 1 for 0. Tidal Wave comes across. And UOL can make all the plays. Dan ults in. He's going to find Voidal. He's going down as well. 2-0 this fight. Now, is it Baron or is it mid lane?
Well, their top lane also has a lot of CS just built up there. And they're going to go straight for this mid lane. They could get a turret. So they could get a dragon off the back end as well.
They're actually going, this is very strange.
Using a lot of time rotating.
They're not going to catch Cabochard in this one, but they look for the bottom inhibitor instead. You talk about this being the most important inhibitor to take. Problem is, Gragas Orianna wave clear is pretty good. They got to take this fight. They go for it. Bubble hits Cabochard. There's a knockback. They're going in for this one. Again, can they do enough damage? Shockwave hits on 2, and Nicky's got to be careful. Dan low on health as well. He actually goes down. 1 for 0 to NIP. Do they have enough damage to close this one out? I don't know if they do. Bardox tries. Vizichachi can't get enough as well. Mid lane tier 2 still available. They go for that one. The turret finally does go down, but that is not the kind of fight they wanted.
The turret they didn't even go for. It's the one in the mid lane that just went down. They could have gotten Dragon off the back of that, but they don't have their smite available, so it'll be a little riskier.
Wow.
Big dive there. The separation and then the turret aggro swap to Dan was huge, and then it swapped to a Nicky, which zoned him out of the fight as well. Not played very well by Unicorns of Love.
No.
Very aggressive dive. Now NIP, on the other end, there's no smite available for Unicorns of Love. They killed Dan.
Oh my gosh.
Almost a free Baron here.
Well, we'll see if they can stop it in time because the damage going through. Unicorns of Love will do whatever they can to stop this. This is going to be a big point, and Nikki is around. Vizichachi around as well.
Baron low.
They've got Voidal in the front of this one. Baron very low on HP. No smite as we talked about. Tidal Wave comes through. Picked up by Ko. The fight has begun. Voidal flashes away to stay safe. Vizichachi in the backside. He gets pushed around as well. Freeze jumps in for Hylissang. Good damage. Exhaust rated back, but is it enough damage? Looks like he's going to stay safe for this one. Baron picked up for no casualties. Ulti comes through. Does not quite kill Voidal. Very low health on Thresh.
Very, very close, and they're going to continue to fight this back and forth. Dan going for Cabochard.
They're doing what damage they can. Cabochard does not have the ulti available. Iceborne Gauntlet doesn't do enough to slow him down, and that is a kill picked up. 1-1 overall in kills but Baron buff NIP gives them a lot of room to work.
They're also going to go straight for this dragon and try to get more global gold.
They can. This is not going to be good for them. They're going to lose at least one turret top lane, maybe more. Voidal and Alex is going to kill this so slowly, and here goes the first turret going down. Freeze, of course, cannot hold this, and Ko cannot either. The recall coming in for Thresh. It's Alex set to solo the dragon. He will pick that up, but they've still got this small window. They don't know Alex isn't here, but they know they got 35 seconds without Gragas. There's a push in. Top inhibitor turret going to be going down. Kick back from Ko. Knockup comes in from the bubble. Vizichachi in the front lines wants this. Here's Alex, 5v4. Shockwave is available. Out goes UOL.
They end up cracking the base. They get the top inhibitor turret, but the Baron in the hands of NIP is really big. There's a 4K, 4.7K, 4.4K gold difference between these teams. This is more than enough to make up for it. Right now, Dan not on the field, not able to smite during this Baron. Voidal doing his best to keep damage dealers out of the pit. Flashes back in after the disengage Cabo Shard. So Voidal off on the side. Vardax tries to help zone, does successfully, and then almost kills Voidal here. He's about 200 damage short, 100 damage.
Freeze never blocks any of those things for Voidal.
I have a shield from my Bloodthirster. I don't want to break it.
It's so pretty in red.
Yeah, and considering he can lifesteal away, Voidal's just pretty much on his own in these situations.
Oh well. Ko takes a little bit of damage. He's has got one armor item already though. The Randuin's Omen's there for himself. And the wave clear continues, so.
Blade of the Ruined King will be one of his last items coming into this on the Caitlyn. I actually like that a lot.
Yeah, that's the right item to buy right here. So 4 offensive items, the beginnings of Banshee's Veil also there for whenever he needs that item completed. Only 1350 to go for the combine at that point. 2 minutes left on the Baron buff. This is NIP's time to siege. This is the momentary
goal. Oh, the hook onto Nikki, that's what they want.
For Nikki, he gets the ulti but dies right away afterwards. Dan takes some culling, but that's all they needed. First inhibitor now might be available for these guys.
Nikki and Vardax have been too far forward a lot in positioning, and their front line hasn't been the front line for them, and that's going to cost Nikki and the entire team 2 turrets.
And there we go. First turret, second turret, now the inhibitor also going to fall down. Ninjas and Pyjamas getting right back into this game. 2,000 gold deficit, but they've got Baron buffs, meaning they are the stronger team, and they've got plenty of turrets still to take.
Oh, they also have buffs to take, and they're actually going to rotate right now and just tank up this turret.
Why not? Low health,
done.
Easily picked up. 158 gold for everyone nearby.
1,000 gold difference now.
They close that rapidly.
It was around 7K, maybe 8K at one point previously. So NIP getting back into this game off of a couple flubs from UOL with the dive under the turret.
Yep.
And the Baron throw.
Yeah, it was rough. They got those 2 picks and they had, okay, we can Baron, we can Dragon, we can go mid, we can go bottom. They ran at bottom lane where Gragas was already there to defend, and that just gave up all their control. Such a rough call, such a rough situation to be in overall.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking back even further. The Dragon was a big reason that NIP were staying in the game, because UOL started the Dragon up and it went over to Ko.
Yep.
Just very simple, very easily. And then after that, it was really, I think Unicorns of Love may have been thinking that they were more ahead than they were. It's quite possible when you're knocking on base doors.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's a 5-on-3. Like, you're supposed to win that.
Yeah.
You're supposed to win that. Problem is, Dan, and I hate to keep saying it, and I know Hexdrinker is standard on a lot of junglers, but when you're the only engage on your team, Hexdrinker does not make you durable. Like, he had no armor items when they went for that dive earlier on when he dove in to try to take down Cabashard and close the game out. And Dan died so easily because he was Hexdrinker Aegis.
He's working up to it. Vizichachi, though, in the meantime. A lot of gold in his pockets. I think he's actually starting to build some armor items now.
Yep. Well, the Randuin is done now for the Vi, but it's...
Cabashard, though, he doesn't care about turrets.
Nope. He's a very, very, very tanky Gragas. Not a big deal for that, man, and they got the turret on a half HP. Minions coming in eventually. Cabashard, see, he can block it.
Everybody takes it from Freeze. Freeze is never going to eat an ace in the hole.
Pretty much ever. Half HP on this Baron buff. Yep, it's gone, but Ninjas and Pyjamas, they feel so good right now. 800 gold deficit, but this team feels like they're the one that's winning. Bottom lane turret goes down. There's the engage in for Ko. Doesn't quite find enough. Vizichachi forced to hold this mid lane against the dead inhibitor, and NIP can keep sieging. They've got so many good shields. You can see Freeze just doesn't take damage as he brings his turret lower and lower.
Vizichachi, Vardax, and Hylissang have been going crazy this game. They've been doing really well throughout their laning phase and throughout the team fighting phase. Dan and Nikki, I can't really say the same, but there's the TP into the backline.
In the backline, here they go. They look for the engage, but the shotgun's going to catch up Dan. He's not in a good spot, puts the ulti down, stays alive for a while, flashes out, does fall to QuarterFinals. 1 for 0 so far, but this Gragas is low, can't quite fall down. Ko hops the wall as well. It looks like they're not going to be able to re-engage without Vi. Hook onto Nikki, not what he wanted. And down goes the Lulu as well. This could be the game. It is a Pyjamas freeze, pushing in towards Hylissang with the Chachi in the back lines. He goes down as well. More crits come in, 4 kills picked up. And QuarterFinals going to TP in for the Nexus turrets as they push in the bottom lane.
Wow, just a 4 for 0 in the overall there, and NIP come up really huge. Hylissang the only one left, and NIP are surely going to close this game out.
And it's going to be enough. QuarterFinals doesn't even take damage from Hylissang. Freeze, putting the damage down, maybe for the fantasy points. He's going to get it there. The Nexus is going to go down in 44 minutes. Ninjas in Pyjamas earning the comeback victory, and they 2-0 the quarterfinal.
About 7K down at one point, end the game, 5,000 gold up, swinging in. Huge amount of gold, 12,000. Off a Dragon, a one-team fight, and then a Baron for themselves.
Yeah.
They played it right in the late game. Their early game was a little questionable, but UOL played that right for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that comparing game 1 to game 2 here, right? Some great plays by Ko. And to me, like a top-level player, the difference between like a good player and amazing player is decision-making. Yeah. Like a standard D1 90 LP solo queue player is a phenomenally skilled player, and you just have these weird situations that are 1 in 100 where you have to make that right decision at the right time. Again, Ko made that in game 1, got the 2 kills top lane, just being a little bit smarter at that time than Dan. This time around, none of those situations seemed to arrive. Dan made a lot of good choices early on for his team, got them that lead on Unicorns of Love. But when it came down to it, the game was about decisions. When they had that 5-on-3, that's where it all turned around. UOL bit off more than they could chew, tossed away a gigantic gold lead on one bad choice, and NIP capitalized perfectly.
Yeah, and I got to give a big shout out to both the supports in this game. Hylissang was going crazy with the bubbles, but at the same time, Voidal was a lot of the reason that we were calling out a Nikki for his positioning in the late game.
Yeah.
Voidal kept catching him with hooks over and over again, and the right targets ended up on the wrong side of that death sentence.
Yeah, so they caught the guys out properly. Very well done to NIP. They keep that 2-0, so they've kept a piece of history there for themselves, but of course not an unbreakable team. As we saw, of course, they lost the finals to H2K a couple weeks ago, and they had some close games here, but still on to the semifinals they go. So with that victory by NIP, here's how the Series 2 bracket shapes up. Ninjas in Pyjamas will advance to the semifinals and play the winner of Gamers 2 versus Playing Ducks.
And next week, Forever Zenzig will take on SK Gaming Prime for 2 hours.
Yeah!
For the right to face H2K Gaming in the semifinals.
But before all that, the NALCS gets started up tomorrow when Complexity takes on Team Curse, then Evil Geniuses face off against Cloud9.
And Counterlogic Gaming goes up against Team Solo Mid, followed by LMQ and Team Dignitas. It all gets started at 9 p.m. Central European Summertime, noon Pacific Time.
And with that, we've reached the end of our time together tonight. But before we go, I want to say thanks again to our friends at Coca-Cola. Now for myself, Zirene, and the entire live broadcast crew, thanks for watching, good night, and GG.